My guest, Reverend Michael Carter. Michael, again, thank you so much for being here tonight, my friend.
Thank you, brother. I just want to honor Bill. What I was just going to say about his question about John is that
Sure.
we focus on the apocalypse, and we could have an apocalypse, no question. But again, the point I was trying to make is you focus on the world you want to create, not the world you don't. And so if we want to create an apocalypse, we can all just focus on that, and we can make that happen. But if we want to focus on a world of more justice, a world of more love, then that's what we need to be doing. Because it always baffles me that the very same people who want to say, well, the world's going to end and, this is going to happen, then if you really believe that, then why get up in the morning?
Right.
Why bother?
Right.
If it's all set in stone, it's like everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. So if you really believe that it's all, the gig is up, and then there's really why get up in the morning? So that's where I'm coming from. I want to focus on the world I want to create, not the world I don't want.
Right, on the positive things.
Well, not to the point of negating. I'm not saying put my head in the sand, but quantum physics and metaphysics tells us that what you focus on, you create.
Right.
And I'm not saying just to be positive and just to say, oh, my God, let's all sing Kumbaya. But I'm just saying that in order to change, one has to be the change they want to see in the world. And that's what Gandhi said, right? Be the change you want to see. You want more love in the world, then be more loving.
Right.
You want more forgiveness in the world, then be more forgiving.
Hey, Mike, have you moved around a little bit? For some reason, you're breaking up just a little bit.
Right? Yeah, I just walked. I took 2 steps to the right, but I'm here.
Okay, yeah, because before you were crystal clear, and then it was kind of echoing a little bit. I've got a bunch of questions that were sent in for you. Can I go ahead and post them up to you?
Please.
Okay. First question is, has Michael encountered reptilians, and if so, what is his view on them?
I have encountered reptilians. Nothing untoward happened to me. I said at the outset that I don't generalize, so the reptilians that I've encountered have done me no harm.
You still there, Mike?
I know a lot of people will say the reptilians are this, but that's like saying all black people are this way, all Irish people are this way. I don't think you can judge a whole species or a whole race of people by the actions of a few. So I don't know all reptilians, but the ones that I have encountered have done me no harm. So I wish them peace.
Gotcha. Another question for you is, our friend Sky from Ohio writes in and says, when Michael has had these experiences, did he get a feeling like a knowing that they were always with you all along?
I got a feeling that it may not have been them all the time, but that I was protected, that I was, how can I say, that I wasn't alone.
Okay.
That I wasn't alone. And that was helpful for me.
Yeah.
But it may not have been them. I may have other guides. I may have other spirit guides or what have you. But I knew that I wasn't alone. I have been lonely, but I've never really been alone.
Okay, that's a fair fair statement. Yeah. Another question is, what was the mainstream religion that Michael left?
I left the Baptist Church.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah. And the last question emailed in was, what's Michael's belief of star children? Yes, no, or maybe?
Probably maybe, yes or maybe. My daughter may be one. I know she's a very advanced soul, even though she's in a 9-year-old body. I just find that many of this generation's kids they're wired differently. But I do believe in star children, and I think that's one of the ways that the planet will change. That we need some fresh energy and a new perspective. You don't put old wine in new wineskins. So I would say yes.
Okay, very good, very good, very, very, very interesting. Well, I think think, Mike, that people are starting, and I've said this on my program on the show so many times. People are starting to, I'm going to be cautious how I put this. I believe that people have different beliefs as far as religions, what they believe in, how they were grown, what they grew up, how they were raised. But I think people are starting to question things a little bit more, and I think that's a good thing. I think for so many generations, people just accepted one answer. They accepted one thing. It was because, that's how my dad did it, that's how my grandfather did it, or how my mom did it, or my grandmother did it. It was handed down through the generations. But I think people are starting to be more open-minded. I think the younger people of today, and I'm not saying that religion is a bad thing. I don't want to put that out there by any means. But they're starting to question things. They're starting to dig deeper into things, and I feel that that's a good thing. I think people need to be more open-minded. Mike, where'd you go? Hold on. Mike, is that you?
Hey.
Hey.
Pat?
Yeah.
Sir Patrick.
Oh, hey, Harv, how are you?
Not bad.
Hold on a second. I think we lost Mike. Michael, are you there?
I'll call back if you want.
Yeah, our phones are acting really crazy. No, you can. What was your question?
Well, geez, all the way from the Zachariah Sitchin, Neil Freer, Michael Talbot.
Okay,
Jared.
Hold on. Why don't you give me 5 minutes? Let me figure a way to get Mike back on the line
You
here.
want me to call back so you can take care of that business?
All right, give me a call back in a few. Thanks, brother.
Thanks, old kid.
All right. Our good friend Harv, love him calling in. All right, let's see if we can get Mike back on the line. Phone lines have been acting really strange here tonight, or past while. I do not know why. Let's see what we can do. Hold on. Kind of like old-time radio, dialing the phone. Let's see.
Yeah, we got cut off, Pat.
Okay, you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, no problem.
I know. The last thing I heard you say that you thought it was a good thing that people.
Okay, what I was going to say is, I think it's a good thing, and like I said, I'll just back a couple things. I believe that people, religion is a good thing for family. It helps a lot of people. It's a lot of good for a lot of people. Talking bad about it, but I think it's a good thing that people are not, the people of today, people are starting to not just accept things the way they are. People are starting to question things and look for their own answers and dig into things and thinking that things that might be out of the realm of reality or possibility may truly be there.
I agree, and I agree with everything. I sometimes marvel at people who just want to get rid of religion, period. But I can understand why, but I also know that religion can serve a higher good. But I'm with you. And it's good to ask some questions. And it's good to have doubts. Who was it? The writer Anne Lamott says that doubts are the ants in the pants of faith. And I just yeah, I was like, wow, okay. It's a wonderful image. But no, I think it's a good thing. And I'm a clergy person. And this is why I wrote, even going back to my second book, because I don't think you have to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Right. But I think the original intention of religion was to get people to, people asking questions about why I'm here, what's the purpose, how, and to get some guidance. But also, I think that religion can sometimes stress what, everything is so outer, everything is so external. And I think, people need to hear that, if you're part of God, if you want to use that word, or all that is, which I believe we all are, then you don't always have to look outside. You can always look within. I mean, if what Rabbi Jesus says is correct, the kingdom is within you.
Right. Right.
And I think we need to hear a little bit more of that. I think people would stay in churches more if that if that idea was expounded upon and brought a little more up to date.
Right. In some religions, and again, I'm going to be cautious how I state this, but
Yeah.
are run more like governments. They're run more like a government than a religion.
You're very right.
In my statement a little earlier is even with the Bible, the Bible was written. It's all subject to interpretation.
Yes.
In some things I believe in there are true, and some things I think were put there as a book of rules because there were no rules back then.
Exactly. You're right.
I mean, right.
You're exactly right. No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. You're exactly right.
Right.
I mean, listen, let's take the Ten Commandments, for instance. Some people may call them the 10 suggestions. The point is this. Those were rules that Yahweh gave to the Hebrew people. Once he led them out of Egypt, now you're my people. Because there were other gods. There were other star people who were controlling different parts of the land. So it wasn't like you shall have no other gods before me, well, the gods of money or the gods of sex or the gods of materialism. I mean, we could put that in there, but basically he was saying, I am the God for you because I brought you out of the land of Egypt. Because if you weren't supposed to murder, then why would he have them go into the land of Canaan and kill men, women, and children? If you weren't supposed to covet your neighbor's goods, then why would they go into the land of Canaan? Those rules, basically the Ten Commandments would have read, you shall not murder another Jewish person. You shall not covet another Jewish person's goods. You shall not, because those were specifically for that tribe. I'm not arguing that they're not good for today, but I'm just saying because first of all, it was almost 200 of them or something like that, and they got it down to 10. There were many, many rules, but those rules, speaking to your point, they were for the Hebrew people. They weren't for everybody in general.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, a book of rules, a guideline, if you will. I got another caller on it. Hopefully it's my friend Harv. You want to take another call?
Sure, I'm taking whatever you want.
Let's do it to it. Caller, good evening. Welcome to K-Talk. You're on with Reverend Carter.
Sir Patrick and Reverend Carter, how you doing?
Hey, how are you?
Don't steal from anybody. That way you don't steal their life, you don't steal their stuff, you don't steal their affections, you don't steal their, and I get it. I heard you in the last hour. Thanks for having me on, Pat.
Oh, you're welcome.
And,
thank you, brother. Thank you. I agree with you. Don't do it from anybody. Don't do it to anybody.
I'm just going to say, man.
That makes life a little easier. And yeah, and we're still trying to learn that, aren't we?
Well,
as human beings, we're still trying to learn that.
Somebody the other day was saying about the something rule. Can't remember what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
The rule, treat other people. And I was like, I called in and said, no, you can't treat people like you want to be treated. You have to treat them like they want to be treated.
Right. Oh, I know what you're saying. There's something called the platinum rule. The golden rule was do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And the platinum rule is what you just said. Yeah. And people say, well, how do you do that? You ask. You ask them how
they like. You get to know them.
Yes.
Sorry.
You go.
I overtalked you.
No. We needed to hear that. Thank you. The platinum rule. That's right.
I heard you saying about some stuff, so I was thinking the first time I heard about something outside Mormon religion, which I wasn't a big fan of. Not that they're a bad religion. I don't think any religion is a bad religion. Well, unless it dictates killing people.
Right.
But I heard on the KTKK about 40 years ago, a guy named Neil Freer. And then after him, Zachariah Sitchin.
Right.
And then after him, Michael Talbot. And after him, Jeremy Narby, who was talking about, and when I got, I couldn't get enough information. So I said, Well, the hell with it. I went and found an Indian medicine man, and I did some peyote. I was done with it.
Yeah.
And I found things. That's pretty cool. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a recreational drug, tell you that much. But I think it, I wonder, Mr. Carter, how are these things all, how are they connected? You know, they're trying to knock it out of our consciousness, I think. I guess that's what I'm saying. Sorry. I went on.
No, you're fine.
No, it's okay. Are you saying that? I just want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly. Are you saying that you think that the star people are trying to knock out of our consciousness, like the violence and the fear and all that?
The which ones?
Who's trying to knock what out of our consciousness?
Well, I think the people on the planet Earth are trying to stay in control and trying to knock everything out of our consciousness, which I think is a godforsaken thing to do. Really, seriously. I think that's worse than murder.
I mean, I think there's some truth to your point that there are some people vested in maintaining the status quo. And I mean, you know, because it's the change, it's the unknown of the change.
They've been doing it since the Magna Carta.
Yeah, but people grow and people do evolve. I have the audacity to hope, and so I see a promising future for humanity. I really do. If I didn't, I couldn't get up in the morning. But I thank you for your time, and I thank you for your question.
That's why I don't get up in the morning.
What was that, Harv?
I don't get up in the morning. That's why I called.
Do you think we got a promising future or no?
Well, obviously I don't, but Mike Carter does.
Yeah.
I'd like to hope that he's right.
I hope he is too.
Well, the thing is that, but you have to be part of the change. You know, I
don't know how it worked out on me, brother. It took like 1 week, 3 weeks, and then a broken leg here, and then a shotgun there, and all that. You know.
Yeah.
So then,
well, whatever you do, just hang in there.
What?
Whatever you do, hang in. Don't give up.
No, I dug what you said. It gave me hope.
Yeah, don't give up, man. Don't give up, because there's always hope. That's what keeps people going.
Hey, you know Jeremy Narby?
No, I don't.
The Cosmic Serpent.
I've heard of it, but I've never read it.
He's a microbiologist. He went down to South America and he ate ayahuasca, and then he realized that that the plants were changing ideas from the plants into the human beings that did it. That's how the Indian medicine man was getting that. And I was thinking, there's like 3 or 4 things on this planet that are really cool. And I don't know why these oil guys, really, seriously, never brushed oil off of a hill in Alaska. It's pretty despicable. You know, and I'm not against oil. I'm just saying that there are 3 or 4 things on this planet that are just wonderful if we could just use them correctly and not be I don't know.
Well, we got to respect the planet, and that's where I think that we've lost that. Hey, Harv, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to pick back up with him. I got a ton of questions for him.
I love you, old brother. You take care now, and thanks so much, Mr. Carter.
Take care, man. Be well.
Okay, be good, my friend.
All right, bro.
Bye-bye.
All right, bro.
You got to love Harv. He calls in all the time, and he definitely has a lot to say.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
It is easy though, Michael, to get hung up in the negative stuff all the time, and I think that we do, we do need to change. I mean, just like with the upcoming, and I don't want to go political here, but just like with the upcoming elections, I mean, we never hear of what good things can happen. All we hear of is that this guy and that girl and this woman and this person, all the bad things. It's just nothing but negativism all the time.
Yeah, and it keeps people in control, and it keeps us worrying about things we have no we have no control over. And no, you're right. But and people are waking up to that little by little. I mean, sometimes human evolution can be glacial. It can be so slow. But you're right. People are waking up to that. And I know personally, again, I'm very practical in a lot of ways, and I'm not living with my head in the sand, but I need more. I need more. I'm looking for wisdom at this time in my life, and I got all the information I need. We live in an information age, and I think our culture confuses information with wisdom.
Right.
Yeah.
Can you talk about, we've got about a half hour left, could you talk about Contact in the Desert?
Sure.
And what happened there? And I heard it was one of the best events.
It was, well, I was just delighted to be invited to speak. That number one. I was sitting right next to Travis Walton for the whole time, for the 4 days I was there, because we were selling our books, and we had our books right next to each other. Like I said, I worked with Eric Van Donigan before and stand on his shoulders and many others. But it was a who's who of people in the community. Stephen Bassett was there. Wilcox was there. Eric Van Donigan was there. Giorgio was there. I was there. Linda Morton Howell was there. I mean, it was just a who's who of people in the UFO community. Kathleen Martin was there, Stanton Friedman. And, everybody got up and talked about their spiel. It was hot, as you know what. It was 102 degrees the last 2-3 days we were there. It was about 2,000 people there. 2,000 people attended this conference. And it was a lot of just good information. People are interested. The audiences were highly sophisticated and well-versed in the material. Laura Eisenhower was there. I was on a panel with Laura Eisenhower and I forgot the brother's first name, but Gilliland. He has a ranch or something.
Yes, James?
Yeah. Yes, James was there. And, it was just a wonderful, wonderful experience. And I hope they have it again next year. But, the only thing that was tough is that, well, I guess most conferences are like that, but you had to choose, who you're going to see, because a lot of people were speaking, around the same time.
Right.
And so, you may have missed the speaker or, you had to make the decision. But it was Jimmy Church was there. But it was a good experience for me. And if they have it again, and if I was fortunate enough to be asked, I'd fly out there and do it again next year.
Right. You're starting to break up a little bit. Are you moving around a little bit, Mike?
I'm sitting here now.
There you go.
I switched phones, because, one of them was running out of juice.
No, you're perfect now.
Okay.
No problem. Well, it's an eye-opening event, and let's talk a little bit about just in some of your talking. First of all, your books. Where can people get your books? So let's talk a little bit about your books. Where can our listeners get your stuff?
They can go to Amazon or Barnes and Nobles, and you can get it for Nook or Kindle or paperback. They're pretty reasonably priced, and you can go and pick those up. You can also write me at michaeljscarter.com. That's my website. My email is michaeljscarter@gmail.com. Or you can just Google me, and we can keep the dialogue going. But you can pick up the books definitely on Amazon or Barnes & Nobles. and again, you can get it on Kindle, Nook. But you can extraterrestrials in the Holy Bible.
Okay.
That's the first one, and the second book is called A New World If You Can Take It. The subtitle is God, Extraterrestrials, and the Evolution of Human Consciousness. That book came out in October. And they're quick reads, but there's a lot of information packed into them, and I'm pretty sure people would enjoy them.
Well, I definitely want to pick them up and read through them. Because I think we're on the same page. Well, I know we're on the same page as far as what we like to, what we believe in, and I think people in general are becoming more open-minded and starting to look at different things, and starting to accept different things and question things. Yeah,
and that's all we want, to people just to imagine possibilities. And who was it? Victor Hugo said that nothing is as powerful as an idea whose time has come. And I think this idea is for humankind. It's come, and there's no way there's no way it can be repressed now. There really isn't.
What do you think about this whole thing, this big term disclosure? Do you think that we're going to see a day when, if you want to call it the government or whatever, do you think we're going to see a day when they're going to step forward with this? Or if not them, do you think someday the human race is going to see something, hopefully in our lifetime, that's going to dispel all the myths, and people will say, yeah, there's something really there, and we saw it with our own eyes?
I think we already are in disclosure. I don't believe that you're going to get all 9 billion people to be on the same page about anything.
Okay.
I tip my hat to Brother Steve Bassett. He was at the conference as well. I tip my hat to Brother Stephen Greer and Dr. Michael Sala doing great work over in Hawaii. But disclosure's already happened, and people. There's more evidence now with camcorders and phones. I mean, it's already happening. We have the Vatican talking about UFOs. We have governments like Chile and Mexico and France and Britain and Australia and China and Argentina. They've already made public some of their classified files. Right. So disclosure is happening right now.
Well, I agree with you, but it seems like so many people still, I don't know, it's like they want something more.
I know, but see, that's the trap. The trap is to fall into that everybody's all going to be on the same page. You may have a ship land on the White House lawn, and people may not believe it.
Right.
So the thing is, that's how you get stuck. It's happening. But, you can't get 4 people to agree on one thing. 9 billion?
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I think that it's already happening. We may see in our lifetime an official, quote-unquote, disclosure, but I believe that if we do, it won't be because some government wants to be nice. It'll be because their hand was forced, right. Even probably by the Star People. There may be a sighting that simply cannot be explained away.
I hope we see that.
Yeah, I think it's possible. I really do. Yeah. I mean, I look at the things we have seen in our lifetime. The Berlin Wall come down. Okay, we may be seeing a woman president in this country. We've seen a man of color be president. I mean, we've seen things that probably never thought we'd see.
Right.
No,
I agree with you. And like you said, I think the big thing is that the negativity of I mean, of course, we had a pretty big financial collapse that affected a lot of people. It affected me personally. I don't know if it affected you, but I know just tons of people that it did. And I think we're slowly climbing out of that. I think there's going to be after effects of that for a long time to come. But again, it's just in general on this planet, we just got to kind of get our act together and put some of this stuff aside. It seems like we're sadly, and again, I'm not going to talk politics, but we could maybe be closer to the brink of another world war than we think. With all these other countries.
I agree with that. Yeah. This time And listen, sometimes you have to be political. I mean, we're not trying to force people to believe what we believe. We're just spouting what we believe, and so far you can still do that in this country.
Right.
But yeah, I think that you are right. I feel that all elections are crucial, but this is a crucial time for humanity as a whole, because we can just go either way. And we could be. I mean, the Ukraine could trigger it. Of course, always the Middle East could trigger it. A terrorist attack could trigger it. A false flag incident could trigger it.
Right.
So yeah, we're definitely playing with fire here.
And you know, I hope that the powers to be, I hope people in general will not let these type of things happen. I think instead of concentrating so much on the negative side, concentrate more on what we can do for people. But I think it's sad, but the corruption in government and the corruption and even in religions and just the general greed and corruption in people it's just bearing its ugly head right now. I'm not saying that things are terrible, because they're not all terrible, but boy, there's sure a lot of attention being pointed at some of these bad things.
Yeah, but you know, sometimes that's good, Pat, because nothing changes unless you see it for what it is.
That's true.
And so, you know, we can't bury our head in the sand. That's not what you're implying, obviously.
No.
You know, and I know that's not, and I want you to know that's not what I'm saying, you're saying. But I am saying that we see these problems. We're talking about, listen, 10, 15 years ago, we wouldn't be talking about the inequality in wealth now.
No.
That's evolution.
Right.
That's evolution.
No.
You know, we're saying, wait a minute, this old system isn't working.
Right.
You got to give me a reason for my daughter or my son to go die in Syria.
Right.
I mean, you got to really. What's our goal there? What do we? How long would we stay there? I mean, we're asking the questions.
Right.
We're saying now, wait a minute. To me, that's progress.
Yeah.
And progress it's not an event. It is what it is. It's a process, and I think that's what we're headed for now.
One of our listeners just sent in a question for you, Mike. It says, does Michael think some races of ETs are working with one or more government agencies here on Earth?
Well, certainly it looks that way. I mean, who was the brother who wrote, what is it, Something Hospitality, the book?
Yeah, I don't know who, but the title
yeah, well,
sounds
that's what he's saying. He's saying that there are ETs working in government. Yeah, I think that is going on, and I think it's been going on for quite a while. I would venture to say it's been going on ever since after Roswell.
Yeah. That
we have been working, our government, with a species of extraterrestrial, which is one reason why we're probably, as a nation, we're not so easy to disclose, because how do you explain that to the American people?
Right.
That not only have we lied, some people have lost their lives.
No, I agree. Well, and it's even the one thing that I've said so many times is, well, I don't feel there's ever going to be a government disclosure, and you hit it right on the head. How can you sit there for so many years and as a government agency say, no, and then all of a sudden, oh, well, by the way, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and people have died. People have been threatened, who were threatened to disclose. I mean, it would shake the foundation of this nation, because people already find it hard to believe that our government does some of the things it does. But you know what they could do is like what Mandela did in South Africa. You have a truth and reconciliation kind of committee formed, and you said, okay, we're going to pardon certain people for doing certain things in order to get the truth of this.
Right.
We could do that. It worked in South Africa. Was it all peachy creamy? No. But it got them going again. We'll just have a truth and reconciliation thing. And we got to come clean.
Right.
We were afraid. We didn't know how to tell the American people that we couldn't control our airspace. We didn't know how to tell them that our version of religion was not only wrong, it was really wrong.
Right. Very true. Very, very true.
Yeah, I mean, I think people could do that. I think people could live with it, but it would be a hard time because, people are saying, well, hey, man, we could have free energy right now. So a lot of the oil companies and stuff, I mean, it would be ugly, but it could be doable.
Well, and some of these, some of these things, I've often said this, and I believe that there are a lot of cures for some of these terrible diseases that we have as humans.
Oh, yes.
But if that cure comes out, what does it do to these big companies? It puts people out of work. I'm not saying this is the right thing to do, but I mean, these are major changes that, I think, again, it's a tough one,
Well, I'm with you, though, man. I mean, free energy, cures for cancer,
right?
Cures for Alzheimer's.
Right.
I mean, yeah. But we're so deeply embedded in the money game. I'm sure there's a cure for cancer.
Oh, sure.
Sure.
I'm sure.
As you said, the money.
Right.
Look at all the money that would be lost. I'm sure BP and Exxon or whatever, they know about free energy. They know about this stuff.
But, they do.
There's no money. There's no money in it if they tell people about it. All this becomes obsolete.
Well, the other thing I believe that exists out there that millions and millions of people around the world fight is being overweight. I believe I do believe that there's a possibility of that magic pill, that diet pill. But just think about it. Coca-Cola sells more Diet Coke than they sell regular Coke.
Exactly.
No.
I mean, these are things to think about.
Yeah.
But it comes back to money.
Oh, it
does. It always comes back to money.
It does.
And so money, yes. And so that's going to be the sad part of at least our history as a species, but also especially in Western culture, not limited to, that we put profits over people.
Oh, we do. We definitely do.
Yeah.
So what's on the home front for you, Mike? What do you have going on? What do you what's going on?
I'd like to do some more conferences. I would really like to do that. And so I have a publicist who's on the West Coast. Her name is Susan Dan. She's in Oregon, and she's working on that for me. And she's a great publicist and a great supporter. I'm working on another book, but it's not so much UFO related, but the book is about, it's actually a calendar. It's not a calendar with pictures, but it's actually, it's a 31-day, you do a lesson a day, you do an affirmation a day, and it's called, the working title is called God Consciousness One Day at a Time. And you pick it up and you read it, you'll read it today, and you'll have a lesson or just something there that you can mull over as you go through the day. There'll be an affirmation on that page. And so that's what I'm working on now. I have other interests. I mean, the UFO topic is wonderful, and I'll get back to it. But I also feel that whether you met someone from another star system or whether you're just getting up every day just trying to get to work with a family, that in order for us to evolve, we have to change the way we think and look at things.
Right.
And so hopefully this book, this calendar, it's a lesson a day, will help facilitate that.
Right. Something to point people in the right direction.
Yeah, and it's literally just you turn to day one and you have an affirmation that you just carry throughout the day, and there'll be something there to support that affirmation. And I was thinking about it, and I told my publisher about it, and he said, "Why not?"
Yeah. Well, no, and it's those simple things that we need as humans.
Yeah, because in this kind of field, you've always got to put something out there. I mean, and I was just talking with someone else about that today. I mean, it's in order to stay relevant, in order to get your message out, you've almost got to constantly be reinventing and recreating things. And so as long as I'll do that, as long as it interests me and it's still fun, but it's always going to be a message of love. It's always going to be a message of unity. It's always going to be a message of, that we're not separated. Right. That's going to be my theme. It always is.
Oh, I agree with you. I totally agree. One other question that came in from one of our listeners in Florida, his name is Bill as well. Bill writes and says, Reverend Carter, do you believe that some of these extraterrestrials could actually be time travelers, us in the future or the past?
Yeah, I do. One thing it's a great question, and people have posited that theory. One thing, which accounts for some of them coming back and maybe saying, depending on who they talk to, we don't want you to make the same mistakes we did.
Yeah.
So we're coming back to tell you, hey man, we've been there, done that. But one thing, and in this field, we now know that anything is possible, and that there's really no such thing as supernatural, or unnatural laws. They're just laws of physics that we're just not familiar with yet.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So I think that could be very possible. They can travel to other dimensions as well. So you may have one group or one species that can do all of that.
Right.
Who can bend time and warp time, and they could be coming from other dimensions, other planets, and the future.
That's true.
The sky's the limit with this. Anything is possible.
No, that's true. No, you're very true. And we just have to open up a little bit and be a little bit more accepting to it. And, the whole subject, and, you've been through, the one thing I like about, the one thing that impressed me about your notes that you sent to me and what you've talked about is you've never used the word abduction. You've strictly used contact. And I sometimes think that abduction, I'm not saying that things don't happen to people, but I think sometimes people get a little confused. I think sometimes Hollywood sensationalism gets thrown into this whole subject, and gets things blown a little bit out of proportion sometimes.
No, you're right. You're very right. And so, yes, maybe some people have been abducted, but it has that sinister connotation. The other thing is that, and when I first started seeing these more human-looking ones, and these were like blonde, blue-eyed folk, because there's some of them look like people of color. I mean, some of these beings, but we've been giving the prototype that all ETs have to look like either the ETs in Alien with Sigourney Weaver, or they're small with big heads and gray. But but people are still not getting here is that some of these beings, you could get on an elevator with them and you wouldn't even know it.
Right.
That they were from elsewhere. Not unless you were really sensitive to energy.
Right.
And I think that we're being fed this gray reptilian because it keeps the us versus them, but it also keeps people from being scared, because if we know that some of these beings you could walk down the street and not know, well, they could be anywhere then, couldn't they? They could be in your supermarket. They could work at your McDonald's. They could be your school teacher. They could be, but I'm here to tell you, all these beings do not look like little gray people. Some of them look like you and me.
Right. Well, like I said, it's about being open-minded, accepting, and hopefully things will get a little better for all of us, Mike. I think but it all comes down to we've got to take care of ourselves first. We have to be in the right state of mind to begin with.
Amen. And just count your blessings.
Exactly.
I mean, listen, life is beautiful, man. I know it's not beautiful for everybody, and that makes me even more grateful. But it's a beautiful life, and it is what you make it.
Right.
And it ain't always easy.
Right.
But,
exactly.
You count your blessings.
Exactly. I've got to wrap it up, my friend. It was an honor to have you here, and I would love to get you back on again at the end of summer or fall if you'd be willing to give me some time.
I'd be more than happy. I'd be more than happy. By then, I can tell you more about the new book and maybe what's coming up in the fall schedule. I'd like to get a link to this if I could.
I will send you an email with all the shows are archived about an hour after we're done, and we'll go ahead and get you that link, and you can download it. It'll go to YouTube, it'll go to iTunes, go to a few different places, and it'll give people an opportunity to hear it at a later date and time if they missed it.
All right, brother. Listen, you take good care. I wish you and your family much peace, and God willing, we will connect again.
We sure will. Maybe we'll see it. I've been tempted to. We've got a big UFO conference coming up here in August, and I'm going to see what I can do to make it down there. I would love to. I've been doing this radio show for 5 years. We're in our 5th year, over 580 some interviews, and maybe I need to get out there and see some of these events with my own eyes.
Yeah, you have to. Oh, you have to, man. Where's it going to be?
Cedar City, Utah.
Is it a nice conference? Maybe one day I can try and get out there.
Yes, it's going to be the first one for the state of Utah. Our MUFON director, Erica Lukes, is working with a group down south. Richard Dolan will be there. Stanton Friedman is coming in. It's going to be a very, very large group, and we're looking forward to it. The state needs something like that. That
would be great.
We see so many crazy things in the sky here, Mike. We're not that far. We're right on the edge of Dugway, and Area 51 is just down the other side of the mountains.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, I would love to come out there.
Yeah,
I think I'll talk to my publicist and see if she can get me out there in Utah.
Yeah, it'll be. I think I want to say it's like the 20th or 19th or 20th. I'll send you a link on the info.
Oh, that'd be great.
Okay.
All right, brother. Take good care of yourself.
You too, my friend. Take care, and we'll stay in touch.
All right.
God bless. Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.